Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Black and Gold Report, a show all about UNC Pembroke athletics, presented by Pepsi. I'm Jenna Davison, and today on the show, we're going to be previewing the remainder of our fall sports in men's soccer, women's soccer, volleyball, and cross country. But first, we're going to start with our men's soccer preview. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you.
You have a lot of new faces on this year's team, evidenced by a dozen newcomers on your 23-man roster. What have you been impressed with so far in preseason, and where do you expect your strengths to be in the upcoming season?
I think just the overall work rate. You can tell we've got good people, and that's the most important thing. That's something we've really stressed in recruiting and building on the group that we brought in last year. But I think that's where the success that we hopefully will have will come from, just the kind of camaraderie, the chemistry and the unit that we're trying to build. So hopefully from that we can have some success this season.
Defensively, you do return a bright spot from a year ago in the form of all-conference goalkeeper Kenneth Perkinson, who finished his rookie season with a pretty impressive 1.13 goals against average. What differences have you seen in Kenneth so far?
I think Kenneth, like Tom Devitt, Hayden Poe, Nathan Ledge, they came in last year, played for the first year. They've just grown as people, and that's the biggest thing. They've developed as players, but more importantly, they've developed as people, and you can see the difference physically also in their game, their confidence in themselves, the self-esteem that they have. So I think in 12 months you can see a big jump in that. So that will help tremendously for the new guys, helping them, kind of come together. But I think that's the biggest part. And Kenneth's going to be a big factor. He's really progressed.
Offensively, you bring back just two guys that got into the scoring column last year. So who do you expect to step up and fill the void left by graduation of Sam Miles?
I think somebody like Sam, you can't replace him. He's just such a fantastic player, person, just everything that he brought to the table. He gave so much to us, and he took everything and got everything from being part of this program and part of the university. But I think, that's in the past now. We've got to look beyond it. Guys like Johannes Quaresma, Branko Thijs, Nathan Ledge, Jordan Walshaw, Tom Potter, these guys are all players. Izzy Evans, Josh Phelps. So we have a lot of players that are capable of contributing and score goals, creating assists. So really, I think it will be almost by committee. And if one of them can step up and score 7, 8, 9 goals, then fantastic.
There are just two seniors on this year's squad, including Irishman Reese Rooney, who will sit out the 2015 season with a knee injury. So who are the leaders on this year's team, and what role do you expect an impact player like Reese to play on the sidelines for you?
Reese has been fantastic. Really already even though he's not on the field playing, he's involved a lot in the warm-ups. He's bringing the guys together. Josh Phelps also, they're the two captains on the team. Kenneth Perkinson. Again, Tom Devitt, Hayden Poe. There's a lot of guys taking leadership because a lot of them have the confidence now after 12 months being here. But Reese is going to be a big factor, and he's heavily involved in us in every training session. So we're excited to have him.
You play another tough schedule this season, including 4 games against NCAA tournament participants from last season. The good news is half of your games are at home, where you've done very well over the last few years. But what stands out most to you about this year's schedule?
It's very similar to the past. For 2011, 12, and 13, we got off to very good starts. We were 5-0, 5-0, 5-1. Last year, we struggled at the beginning. Again, a big part was we had so many young guys. It was a little bit of a rebuilding year, but they responded well. But every game is difficult. It's kind of trickled down from Division 1, where now the competitiveness on the men's side is every game is difficult. Every team on our schedule can beat us. But also probably we can beat any team on our day. So we've just got to try and gain that consistency and hopefully get out to a positive start. Now if we don't, that's okay. But it always makes it nice when you can start off, if you can win the first couple of games.
What do you think are going to be 1 or 2 keys to the success of your team this season? And how do you expect the Braves to stand up against other Peach Belt Conference and region teams?
I think we're always going to be competitive. Every game last year, other than the Young Harris game, it was very, very close. We actually had a good, in-conference season. It's just how quickly we can gel together. The college season is very short. Soccer, by its nature, is a very tight game. One missed chance, one chance taken, one refereeing decision. It's very tight. A lot of, one-goal games as it was last year. So it's really going to be, can you get that little bit of luck? Can you gel together quickly? Because obviously if you start off 2-0, you always feel better than 0-2. So If we can get off to a positive start, that would be great, but we've got to realize that the big picture, that we can be successful, but how do we deal with that first bit of adversity? When something goes against us, can we rebound back, or are we just going to kind of fall backwards and just say, well, it's not going to be our year? So hopefully we can get off to a positive start, and then when that little bit of adversity comes towards us, we can deal with it.
Thank you so much for being on the show, Coach, and we'll talk to you later in the season.
Thank you.
We're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to head women's soccer coach Lars Anderson, so stay tuned.